It's another day in creating, and today we're on phase 5, step 6 of 7. Today is going to be about vertical accents. Now we already have 2 trellises in our garden made out of cattle panel, and not only does it serve as extra growing space, but it serves as an accent to the garden. Anytime you can bring something up vertically, it just adds depth and dimension and beauty to your garden. So today we're going to be building 2 wooden trellises. We're going to bring you along for that experience, so let's get started. So we're going to be creating a tower trellis. Some people call it an obelisk because it's going to be tall, 4-sided, tapering. We're making ours out of furring strips. These are 1 by 2 by 8. I like it tall, but you might decide to cut some of it off. You may not want yours this tall. That's fine, just ever what meets your needs and your desires. And so you'll need, if you're going to have the furring strips, you only need about 8 of these total to make one. If you don't want to use the 1 by 2s for the legs, another good option would be to use a 2 by 2. It'll just make it a little bit more sturdy on its feet once it's out there on the ground. But we're going to be putting some anchors at the bottom to kind of help bring some stability to it as well. All right, so what we got going on here is on the sawhorses here, we have 3 of these laid out. Obviously 2 of them is going to be for the legs. This middle one here is going to be just as another guide to help keep it square, and then we'll pull this one out. So what I mean by that is ever how much you want it to taper, whether you might want it really close together, that would make a nice trellis, or you might want to bring it, angle it out just a little bit more, that as well is nice. So what we're going to do is we put this middle board here, and then ever how much room we have between one is going to be the same amount between the other. That way one is not angled more than the other to kind of keep things square. Our dimensions, if you want to follow along with ours, our dimensions from the outside is going to be approximately 9 inches and 3/4. And so how we're going to angle ours, we're going to have 2 inches and 5/8 in between both of these. And if you come down here with me at the end here, on the outside, we're going to have 23 inches on the outside and approximately 9 inches and 1/4 on the inside, and that's how much we're going to taper ours. So right now, Paul is just measuring the top just to make sure our measurement is right, that one leg is not angled out more than the other. Like I said, it's going to be 9 3/4 inch from outside to outside and 2 5/8 from the inside to that middle board. And down at the bottom, it's going to be 23 inches outside to outside and 9 1/4 inches from the inside to the middle board. Also, I want to just mention that what we did was painted our furring strips first. We just felt like it would be better to get a lot of the painting done. It would be easier, and that way all we have to do at the end is just kind of do a little touch up. What Paul did first, he just cut a small board. We're just using a jigsaw. You can use any saw that you have available. Any saw will work. All right, so Paul just put a board up and he's marked it up underneath because as we angled it out, it's going to be just slightly slanted, and that way he can get a good measurement and cut it to fit. And while he's cutting it, he's going to go ahead and cut 2 because we need 1 for each side. 2 sides, not 4. So in getting these horizontal boards measured and cut, there's really no measuring as far as putting the tape measure down, because all you do is just put the board down, mark it from up underneath on what the angle is, and then just cut it to fit. So that's going to determine on how much you have your boards angled. So Paul's got 1 board ready to staple on with a pneumatic stapler, and we're going to have 5 horizontal boards all together. This is the second one, and he's going to the very end, just placing a board on top, a furring strip, and going up underneath, marking the angle of that board, how it's tapered. Putting the second board on, which is the very last one at the bottom. Once again, each slat horizontally is going to be spaced out 18 inches. Okay, so now that he's got it secured at the top and the bottom, he can remove that middle furring strip out of the way. That was just to help keep everything square. Now we're working on the third horizontal slat. All right, getting ready to staple that third board on. We're on horizontal slat number 4. And just marking it on each side. Fourth horizontal board being stapled on. Okay, this is the 5th and the last board on this side. Stapling that last board on, number 5. Now we've got 1 of 2 made. We got to make another one identical to this one, so you just lay a furring strip or whatever boards you're using on top of that one, just for size to measure up, and another one on the other side, so 2 legs there. Paul was cutting the horizontal strips on the first side. He cut enough for the second one as well. So those boards are already cut, and he's already went through and measured every 18 inches and has a mark on the furring strip on each side to line those boards up so everything will be square. Obviously this one here, it will go together a lot faster since some of the work was already done along with the first one. So all 5 of the horizontal boards are laid out. All he has to do is just go along and staple each one. Getting that last board staple, so we'll be finished now with these 2 sides. We'll show you how it looks. All right, so those are finished, and you see we have 2. Now all we have to do is just cut horizontal slats and staple them on, and this trellis will be finished. We're going to put a top on it as well though. First board is in place. Ever how wide or narrow you want your 2 pieces to be will determine the length of that board. We're going with 9.5 inches on this very first one. So those 5 boards are stapled on. Going to flip it over, have one more side to go, and then most of it will be finished. And the procedure is the same. You just measure the width all the way down. Ours is every 18 inches, and cut them to fit and staple them on. Very simple. Last board. This hardware here is called screw eyes, and because our tower is tall and lightweight, we're going to put these screw eyes on each leg to be able to drive down a commercial large garden staple in the soil, just to give it a little bit more stability. And we'll have 4 of them, 1 on each leg. So our next step is just to touch up the bare wood with paint, and then we're going to be putting a top on. So we wanted 2 of them in our kitchen garden. This is a top that's going to go on it. We got to make one more. Basically what this is, we just used some scrap wood. It wasn't wide enough. We just glued with wood glue 2 pieces together, and use another piece of scrap wood on top so the screw can go all the way through it. And then we went to Home Depot, and this is just a decorative piece that goes on a fence post. And so all 3 of them together we thought would make a nice ornament for the tower. And basically it's just going to be stapled on like this, and I think that's going to be very pretty. What do you think? The tower trellises are finished, and so now Paul is going to put them up in the kitchen garden. They're tall and beautiful. It's going to give a nice accent to the garden, a point of interest. Here comes the second one. All right, it's another day in creating this kitchen garden. We are moving forward, getting a lot accomplished. And today we're going to be focusing on our welcoming spot. And so this area here has been reserved just for that. It is an 11 by 14. We wanted an area that we can entertain guests, somewhere to sit and just relax, pick stuff from the garden and prepare it and eat it out here, and just make a nice conversation area for family and friends to gather, and just another way to enjoy your kitchen garden. So we ordered a table and chairs, just a small one from Home Depot. It has came in. We're going to assemble that, get it together, set it up, and we're going to bring you back and let you see how ours look. The table is up and chairs are out. The umbrella's up. Kind of a cloudy day, but the umbrella is going to be really nice on those hot sunshine days here in the state of Florida. And I'm sure we're going to be enjoying this area much in days to come, to be able to come out here and just sit and relax and enjoy the beauty of the garden and have things to eat and drink, and to be able to just spend time with family, friends, and guests. So we'll see you in the next phase, phase 6. In the next video, 4 of 5, you will be going over phase 6 of 8. If you have found value in this video, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video.